Alrighty. So we haven't had much so far this season. CYRX was somewhat of a decent one if you got up early. You see here we kind of, I saw run up above the VWAP. And right up in here we kind of pulled down, which was right here. We kind of pulled down. We touched the non-EMA. Non-EMA was sloping up. We kind of pulled down a little bit. And it was around 810. So that was the low of 811. Yeah. But other than that, there's really not much. CYRX had no news. There's really no reason for me to touch that. Checking this. Everything good. Got excellent connection. Low latency. Okay. Yeah. Seems to be good. I think I got everything set up with the AI. I think I got everything set up with light speed, the AI. The AI. No news that I know of. ETAI. Keep that on the list. CYRX. LXD. Got YGN. ETAI didn't hit 704, and then all of a sudden it ran 7 o'clock, so there could be something. Not showing up though. Just not showing up. There we go, BTAI. BioXL Therapeutics announces publication in Frontiers in Pharmacology of the effects of dexamethasone, active ingredient, on stress-mediated behaviors. Okay. So they had some news. Sometimes they say it's 7 o'clock and then it's like 7:05. It's like 5 minutes later. I've kind of noticed that. ETA Harval of 16. So this could be a pretty decent runner. I just don't know. Right now the tape is red. The AI has a float of 5 million. 5 minute has traded 280,000. That's pretty nice. Could have gotten in. We had a run up here. Had a micro pullback right there. Had a micro pullback right there. We ran it up, had a micro pullback. $0.08 pull, 8-cent stop, high of 60, low of 352. That's like an 8-cent stop, and you got yourself 20 cents. The AI. Oh, I forgot the wrong camera. If you're going to get to 390, this was a nice little run right here. That's your first entry right there. Got you about 20 cents. You could have sold half and just move it to a mental break even. Or if we get down to 369, because you could have got in at 361. So if you get down to 370, you can probably sell half and go to 370. That's what I would do. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do. I only do what I do. There we go. Now you can see my ugly mug up front. Okay. Now we are good to go. I know I need to get some kind of theme going with the thing. I think we can get some free themes or whatever. I don't know. There ain't that many people watching, so you guys gotta like and subscribe. Get this kind of pushed out to people. So BTAI was really the only good run so far this morning. I could make a recording of that real quick. Okay, so far this morning, we have got BTAI that came out with news at 7 o'clock. So right here is 7 o'clock, and it started running up. We had an inside bar right here, so that's a micro pullback with an inside bar. And the high of that bar was 361. So if you get in at 360, the high of that bar is 360. If you get in at 361, that is good. Or you could have waited to get in on the break of this 5-minute right here. So like 366. And then we ran all the way up to 386. You could have gotten yourself like 20 cents out of that. And then you can just sell half. And then when it starts breaking down like this, you can just go ahead and sell the rest of it if you want. That is kind of the plan that I do right now. Because if you look at this, this is the perfect setup because right here we're making higher highs and higher lows. The VWAP is sloping upwards. We have a catalyst over here. BioXcel Therapeutics announces publication in Frontiers in Pharmacology. Okay, so we've got a catalyst. We've got a run up. We've got an inside bar right here that is a micro pullback. The EMA is sloping up. Look at the volume. The volume is rising. This pullback volume is lower than all those 3 bars. So that's all good. That gives you a green light. And you could have netted about 20 cents, maybe 15 cents. Maybe you don't get that whole move. I mean, you're not going to get this whole move right here. You're not going to get that whole move right there. But what you can get is this move right here. You can get this move right here, which would be like 66 all the way up to 83. You can get yourself about 10, 15 cents pretty easily. So that happened right at 7 o'clock. That is, so far, we've got a winner. Make sure you like and subscribe. AI. That to AI. The trash. Okay. Lines. We'll just go ahead and delete that. BTAI's got some news. Make yourself about 20 cents. Yeah, BTAI, I'd kind of stay away from that. If you look at the 5-minute, I mean, it made this one made a higher high very slightly, lower low, but it's red. This one that we're forming is definitely making lower highs and lower lows, so you want to stay away from it. And this is what they do. This is the whole game they play. The game they play is news comes out. It runs up. Okay. So now get a little micro pullback. We get a break with a 5-minute high. You could have made yourself 10, 15 cents pretty easily. You got in on here, you easily made yourself about 20 cents right here on the break of that pullback. Made yourself 20 cents. That's how the game's played. You sell into these spikes and then you sell a little bit and move yourself to a mental break even. So as it's running up here, if you're in here, let's say you got in at 361, because the high there is 360. Let's say you got in, let's just say 365. Let's say you got in at 365, and then you come up here to 380. That right there is 15 cents. You sell half, and you have to move yourself to a break even, a mental break even, because this is pre-market. You just can't throw in a market order break even. So you want to keep your hand on the keyboard and be able to sell your full position. And when it comes back down, I mean, you could have gotten out here, right up in here, 368. That's because it's kind of hitting the EMA, kind of closed below the EMA at 368. So, or you can, if it runs up here, what you can do is once you start getting that run, you see the low right there? That low is 371. That low is 381. As soon as you get to 380, which was this candle here, you could go ahead and get out. You can get out if it starts trading below the low of the previous 1-minute candle. You can do that. You can get in and then trade below that. That's perfectly fine. Now, if we look at the VWAP, the VWAP for this for a 1 minute, I mean, that was really nice. And then right here, we got out. Could have gotten out when it closed below the VWAP. You can play it like that. That's perfectly fine. But right here, on a 5-minute, the VWAP, you just kind of have to play around with what you like to do and take away the non-EMA and just play the 1-minute VWAP if you want. Or you can leave it in there. I'm going to go get some coffee. Okay. What we got? BTAI dumping. You already made your money with it, so you wouldn't care. Okay. Wonder if Ross Cameron traded old BTAI. He's been having kind of a bad last week and started this week. He's trying to dig himself out of a hole. Pretty sure he will, because he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's the man at pre-market trading. So I'm pretty sure we'll be doing good. Hopefully he got in on that BTAI trade right here. That could have netted him quite a bit of money. I mean, right up in here. This was trading 200,000, 400,000. That guy trades like 50,000 shares and stuff. I mean, 20 cents. 20 cents, let's say he got in at 50,000 shares and he made himself 20 cents. That's about 10 grand right there. 50,000 shares. He easily made himself 5 grand, I'm pretty sure. And you really do need to check out Ross Cameron. That's Ross, R-O-S-S, Cameron, C-A-M-E-R-O-N, Warrior Trading. Alrighty. OPFI. OPFI. Now, I updated the list yesterday for some reason. Today, I don't know why. But yesterday, I had the stinking OTCs on my list that I was scanning. Yeah, I updated something and I did not filter. Not add a filter to exclude those turds. I don't trade OTC. I will trade a penny stock. There's no doubt. I will trade a penny stock. But I do not trade OTC. We're not on the exchanges. I am not going. We're talking about NASDAQ, NYSE, AMX. If you're not on the good exchanges, I don't want you. Don't want to deal with you. We've got quite a few thousand stocks that we can trade on the good exchanges. There's no reason to go over to the OTC. Absolutely none. There's absolutely no reason to here. Still setting up the account. Well, the account's set up. I'm still setting up the platform. Need estimated. Shares traded. Trade. Max intraday buying power. Long short buying power of that. Short at. Yeah, nice. Okay, good. I'm doing my account summary. See your account summary. Click on that little gear and have the account summary. I guess you can do styles too. All right, let's quit screwing around and pay attention. Jern. Jern has news. Jern doesn't look too swift. We got LRE. If we break that 5-minute high, 181, something like that. Break the 5-minute high, 181, 182, you might get something. Problem is, if you look at the volume, it's not there. That's LRE. Journ. Journ's really nothing. Journ's got nothing. That's 8,000 volume. That's nothing. Journ Corporation reports second quarter. It's just earnings. That's just news. It's just earnings. Right up in here, all this stuff will show up. Yeah, BTAI kind of bouncing a little bit. Got BTAI is looking good. We got Journ that's really, that was play XELB, CLB, I don't know, LRE, LRE, LRE. So you got BTAI here, kind of make a move. Trying to make a move. I wouldn't get. Look at that pullback. Look at that 5 minute. What you're waiting for is this right here, higher highs, higher lows. This is what you want. Kind of like XELB. You see how that went higher highs, higher lows? That's kind of what you want. It's kind of what you want. Let's take a look at XELB. XELB, when did it start making that? 620. So if we scroll back to 620, see, this is what you kind of want to see. Now, if you trade off the VWAP, that's fine. But let's just take everything off. But 620 is right up in here. That's kind of what you want to see, because right here, we broke that high, which is 151, which is this candle right here. If you break that 5 minute high, that's pretty good. Now look at the volume. That selling volume was right there, so that's a little bit kind of high because it's higher than these over here. The selling volume was kind of high and then it kind of drifted down. So you might, once you start breaking this 151, probably jump in, but your stop would be down here. So if you get a micro pullback, you got an inside bar right there, so you could probably get in on a 3-bar break, or just wait until you get that 152, run up here, got yourself 160, so you got yourself a few cents right there. When you get that pop up there, you can sell half and put a mental stop. Once it starts getting down below here, you need to start thinking about getting out, because you really don't want to get caught up in these in pre-market. That's the bad thing. Pre-market is dangerous to trade. Reason it's dangerous to trade. Journ's not really doing anything. Got BTAI is trying to break that 5 minute high candle. I mean, it's below the VWAP for the 5 minutes, so I kind of would stay away from it. Here's the thing. You're not going to get this whole move right here. Okay. I mean, would it be good? Yes. But you're going to get a micro pullback with an inside bar. You get a break of that, and then you get yourself a 20-cent move. So now you got yourself 20 cents. Why are you going to give back money by taking not even a good trade? I mean, it's not even a trading plan because it's below the VWAP. We're making lower highs, lower lows. I mean, that's not what we are about. We're about Momo trading, momentum. This is telling me the momentum's downwards. Now, it could be shifting. Absolutely, it could be. But this right here could be a bull flag, too, for another run down to $3. We have no idea. Because if you look at that daily right here. Look at the daily. Okay, we had a pop, tail. We had a nice bar right here. Right here, we had a pop, gave a little bit back. That's fine. then look at this. We popped and we gave that back. So, I mean, BTAI has been traded. And at 806, okay, that's good that it does that. I like that. The other platform didn't do that. That's not what we're about. So, you gotta sit on your hands. Just because you're a day trader and scalper does not mean you make like 50 or 100 trades a day. That's just nutty. There are people that do it, make a lot of money. But I'm an old fart. I want to relax, make a couple trades. Maybe in my younger years when I was about 20s, I might have been a hyper scalper, but I'm an old fart. Just want to sit back, relax, and take one good trade a day. Like Mike Bellafiore says at S&B Capital, one good trade a day. But here's the thing. Let's say you take 3 trades. You win 2, you lose 1. Let's say you take 2 good trades, and let's say you here, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's say you have 3 trades. Let's say the 2 trades that you did were winners, and they netted you, let's say 15 cents each. That's 30 cents. But you had a loser of, let's say, 15 cents. So you made 30 cents. And then you gave back 15 cents. So you're at a 15-cent winner. Okay. Now let's say we take this $3 stock here, and then we take 5,000 shares, 15 cents. Well, that's $750. That's just off of 15 cents. If you made 10 cents, that would be $500. Now, $500, that's really good. I mean, as a software engineer, I was making 6 figures, and that's about what I was netting. So, I mean, $500. Let's say you do $500. Out of 5 days you trade, let's say only 3 of them are good. Let's say 2 of them, let's say Thursday you made some money, and then Friday you gave it all back. Okay, that's fine. So let's say you have 3 good trades out of the week. Well, that's $1,500 a week. You got 52 weeks in a year. That's $78,000 a year. Do you think you could live off of that? Yeah, well, in New York you might not, but who knows? But yeah, it's all about making really good trades. And this is telling me we are sloping downwards. We are sloping downward. Say, you know, some people like to use, yeah, when you got going on. Let's say people like to use the MACD. Where is the old D? Right here, MACD. We'll go ahead and add that. Now look at that. That MACD right there was open. So the MACD was open, and you made that trade right there. Boom. Now, this trade right here, why would you take that trade? The MACD is sloping downwards, and you're on the back side of it. You want to be on the front side. You want to be where the MACD is open. Now, the MACD is a lagging indicator. It's a lagging indicator, okay? So, but what I'm trying to get across is momentum. See, right here, the momentum was right here. We started having momentum. Now, you could have gotten in on the break of this candle right here, on the break of that candle. Where can you put your stop? 353. I mean, you could put it all the way down here to 327, but what you also could do is if you get the break of this candle here, you can put your stop right down here with the low. So if you jumped down to a 30-second chart or a 15-second chart, these little dips right here, you're going to see trade setups. You're going to see pullback. You're going to see run-ups. You're going to see little micro pullbacks if you go to like a 15, 30-second chart. So I just threw in the MACD to get you to understand that you want to go with the momentum. And a MACD is a lagging indicator, and these lines right here are the moving averages. And what they're doing is they're calculating the spread, the deviation between the two moving averages. That's where you get your histogram. So let's go ahead and take that out. You don't need the MACD. But because I just like keeping my charts clean. But really, the only trade we've had so far this morning was the BTAI. The BTAI came out with news, and of course now it's a turd. But you're not going to get this whole move right here. It would be nice, but you're not. You're going to get this move right here, then you got your inside bar right here. That inside bar right here, that was an inside bar. When I talk about an inside bar, I talk about the high and the low of that pullback bar did not break the high or the low of the previous bar. So that's an inside bar. So you can get in on the break of that bar, 360, you can get in on 361. But you need to be looking at the level 2. So if you know you want to get in at 361 and your stop is at 352, so you got 61.52, you want to come over here to the tape. As soon as you start seeing 61, as soon as you start seeing 62 printed on the ask, as long as you don't see a large order just sitting there getting refreshed, that's a go sign. As long as you don't see large order getting refreshed. Now, if you see a large order, let's say you see 1,000 here, which means like a 10,000 order. If you see it go from 10,000 to 8 to 7 to 6 to 4 to 3 to 2, you can go ahead and jump in, because right here on the tape, you're going to see green. People are slamming into the ask, just eating that up. So you can go ahead and get in. Also, you want to keep your eye over here on the bid side right here. I don't have this labeled bid and ask and with the headers because I really don't need to. But if you see, let's say you want to get in, you know you want to get in at 361. Let's say you get in and people are slamming into the ask. Now, let's say at 358 down here on the bid side, you see a large order of like 2,000 up here, which is realistically 20,000. This 28 right here is really 2,800. That's 2,000. So it's just the way they do it because they want to save room, I guess. But when you see a large order, if you're trying to get in at 361 and you see a large order like 360, pretty large order sitting there on the bid, that right there could be your support. That could be your support. So you kind of jump in, and then you want to get this small move. Now, once we got this pop right here, a 706, once we get that pop, you need to really start paying yourself. Once you break this high, and then you can actually add to the position. Let's say you want to go in with 1,000 shares. Go in 500 here. You break the 5-minute high, which is right here. Let's say you add 500 shares. Now your cost average is probably right there at 362. So let's say your cost average is there. You got 1,000 shares, and you get this pop right here up to 380. Let's say it closes right here. Go ahead and sell some. Sell a quarter, sell a half. However you want to do it. You got to pay yourself, and then you got to put in a mental stop, because pre-market, you just can't throw in a market order and a stop loss. It's not how it works in the pre-market, so you really have to do a mental stop. That's why pre-market is dangerous for beginners, because they don't have the discipline. And then just put in your mental stop. You can ride this up. That makes a low. That makes a low. You can get in as soon as it breaks the low. You can go ahead and get in. EHTH. EHTH. Yeah. Announce the second quarter. Yeah. That's earnings. Just stay away from that. Go back to BTAI. Yeah, just stay away from that. You can ride this up, and if it breaks the low of the previous 1 minute, you go ahead and get out the rest of your position. But you always want to sell into the pops and pay yourself. And the dangerous thing about pre-market is, let's say you get into this pop up here, and you're holding, you want $4. I mean, $3.90, 10 cents away. That's pretty close. Let's say you want $4, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and hold. I'm not going to pay myself, and all of a sudden it starts doing this. It starts selling off. And I've seen it so where it's huge, where it pops, and there's huge candles. This is pre-market. It's very dangerous, because you can go from 380 to 360 in no time. And when that happens, and you're trying to get out, and you're hitting your hotkeys, and you're not getting filled, and you didn't, that's why I do offsets, because on the bids and the ask, I do offsets, because I want to get filled. And you're trying to sell, no one wants to buy it because it's slamming down on pre-market. And this has happened to me. This has happened to me. When you do not sell into these pops, and this starts slamming down, and you're hitting your hotkey trying to get out, this is selling off. In pre-market, it can sell off in extremely quickly. Nobody wants to buy the turd once it's going down. And it's happened to me. And it will happen to me again. I'm sure it will. But you're not going to get this huge run. When you get this pop, you got an inside bar. You got a micro pullback. Now the EMA is sloping up. You got down here on the 5 minute, the VWAP is sloping up. You had a little pullback right there. That is this right here, 352, right there at 352. You had that pullback. Inside bar, that's perfect. Look at the volume. The volume is lower. The volume's going lower. That inside little pullback, that is really low. So you can, let's say you get in 1,000 shares. You want to jump in maybe 500 shares here. Once you break the previous 5 minute high, you go ahead and add the rest of it. Do 1,000 shares. You get this pop. You can sell a quarter, sell half, put a mental stop in, because you're pre-market. You have to do that. You have to be disciplined pre-market. If you're not a disciplined trader and proven profitable during market hours, I would stay the heck away from pre-market. You're going to get slaughtered. And as soon as this starts rolling back over, you can go ahead and get out. And just because you're a day trader and scalper doesn't mean you trade 50 times a day or 100 times a day. Like I say, I'm an old fart. I ain't trading no 50, 100 times. Maybe I'd be a hyper scalper in my 20s, but all I want is just a few good trades. And this might be the only trade we get in the morning. the market's been kind of slow. It was kind of slow last week. Made a little money. Yesterday morning was really slow. And then market hours, it was really good. So we got about 14 minutes before the news hits. Down here's the press releases. This is where I'm scanning the titles for certain keywords. Now up here, this will give any news for the stock, any news for the pre-market movers, any news that comes out for this morning. Right now we're at 8:06, 7:30. This is just the earnings for EHTH. Now FTRE, SBTAI, okay. Got GV. Kenon didn't set up at all. Get a break at 250. We could get a run to 3. You're looking at the 5-minute making higher highs, higher lows. Yeah, read the tape at 250 break, which is a $0.50. 250, 350. When I say whole dollar, I'm talking about like $3. When I say $0.50, I'm talking like 250. These are substantial levels, $0.50 and whole dollars. So GV, the problem with GV, and I'm looking at it right now, yes, it showed up on RVOL because we had a huge spike up here. But the problem with GV, BTAI was a good trade because we had news. That was good news, and wasn't earnings news. That was good news. That was BTAI. So we made the money on that. Now, if you made money on BTAI and you're sitting here looking at GV, you got to think to yourself, where's the catalyst? There is no catalyst. And if you're just starting out trading and you're trying to build a small account, let's say you're on a cash account and you're trading with like $5,000 and you want to get in like a couple hundred shares or something, you really, really need to be picky about what you're trading. Really need to be picky. In my honest opinion, I would only be trading stuff like BTAI with a catalyst that had a A+ setup. Of course, you're going to miss trades. And you have to be disciplined to be able to walk away from it. You want to build that account. So this is kind of taking a while. And also, there's one thing that is concerning about this. I mean, the 5-minute, if you look at this, the 5-minute's fine. Right now, it's starting to sell off. But the one thing that I'm concerned about this, it looks like we're putting in a bull flag. The volume is going down, but the volume is sloping down, but look at that. Look at the selling volume on this candle here. On that candle there, that was high. This candle here, the volume, the selling volume is high. I don't know what the delta is, but that's a little concerning. This, to me, is not an A+ setup. This is not an A+ setup to me. And if you look at the VWAP, session VWAP on the 1 minute, it's trading below it. This is not an A+ setup. It's not a setup at all, to be honest. So it doesn't have a catalyst, and if they were going to run with it, if they were going to push this, we would have came up here to 250 and we would have started seeing the level 2 light up. You start seeing this tape light up green and we'd be popping. Okay, You got a micro pullback. If you get in at 240, your stop is down at 230. You got 50 cents, sell half, move to a mental break even. So they proved me wrong. That's good. But it's not a catalyst. Now, I mean, news could come out. It could come out 5 minutes. It could come out. This is why you need to make hotkeys. You can't be trading off of this order entry right here. You just can't be trading off of it. You need to be making hotkeys. And this was not an A+ setup, in my opinion, because of the volume right here. It was kind of high on those two candles, and I just didn't like it. That is what I didn't like. And me personally, I didn't take this trade. I just did not take this right now. Yeah, it's a good trade. You make really good money. Got in at 240, now you're at 280. That's 40 cents. But hey, you win some, you lose some. I made my money on BTAI. And now I have to sit here and watch it run because I ain't chasing it. So if you did play this, that volume right there was kind of high. That volume was kind of high compared compared to this one and this one. That's what I was concerned about. And if you wanted to play this, go in, do a starter position right here. Then on the break of this candle, you can add to your position. And your cost average is down in here. Now, you got a huge topping you got a huge topping tail right here. We did the $3 the whole dollar mark. We broke that, but we huge topping tail, so they pushed it down. And look at the volume. Look at the 5 minute that is forming. Look at the 5 minute. Look at this 5 minute. It's like a spinning top, kind of like an indecision candle, but they broke that 250 mark. Then they ran it to 3. So they broke the 250 mark and then they ran it to 3. So they broke the half dollar and ran it to the whole dollar. Now, I'm not concerned about missing this trade. Yes, it was a nice trade, but there's no catalyst. And the software BTAI had news, and for some reason, sometimes when it rescans and it comes up, it doesn't show news. Then all of a sudden, maybe 30 seconds, a minute later, it will populate with the news. I've got to take a look into that, of why it's doing that. But I don't have time right now. I'm just trying to put out a minimal viable product for people to use and make money. And we've got the streaming quotes for the price, which I wanted. And then I'm going to have the streaming volume coming in. Kind of like how I have it here on this platform with the volume right here. You can see the volume coming in on the 1 minute. You can see the volume coming in on the 5 minute, which this definitely has good volume. But the reason I didn't like this trade is because of that right there, the volume of coming down. When it pops up and it comes down and kisses the non-EMA, I like the volume to be low, like down in here. And then this volume was higher than the previous right here. That candle was. So that's why I talked myself out of the trade, to be honest. I don't know where I got that from. Somebody told me, I mean, I've been trading for over 10 years, and somebody told me, and I can't remember, it might have been my uncle. Okay, so we have a pullback here. We have an inside bar. If you get in on that break at 261, your stop is down there at 247, but the problem with this is, again, the volume. And I mean, the 5-minute, we're making higher highs and higher lows, but we got a topping tail, big topping tail with massive volume right there. So, again, that's a little concerning. Can you make money? Absolutely. I personally just don't think it's an A+ setup, but that's just me. We got an inside bar right there, and you had a break of that at 262, and you ran up to 271. Yeah, you can get yourself a few cents, but it's not an A+ setup to me just because of the volume down here. As we can see right here, as it kind of breaks the non-EMA. But, and I will do that. When you listen to me, I will do that a lot. I'll talk myself out of a trade, just like I did here. And I'm not too concerned about it because there's thousands of stocks to trade. We're just waiting for a really A+ setup. And the reason I'm looking for an A+ setup is I left Interactive Brokers and I just set up with Lightspeed. And when I transferred my account over, I wanted to be over the PDT rule. So I just threw in 26,000 on Lightspeed. So I can't be trading like I normally trade because in the Interactive Broker, I gave myself a buffer of a few $1,000s. Now on Lightspeed, I only gave myself a buffer of 1,000 because I'm on a margin account. So I have to be picky because I just want to build up my account again and give myself a good buffer before I start jumping in heavy or taking not A+ setups. Uh, 8 o'clock algos. 8 o'clock, it always goes crazy. Always goes crazy at 8 o'clock. That's why I usually try to be out of trades by 8. And it settles down. If you look at this, I mean, we had a nice run. We broke 250. We ran the $3. We had a big topping tail on that, and that volume. Then we just kind of pulled off and just kind of grinded. And now it wouldn't surprise me if we just dumped it. But they can always prove you wrong. Yeah, I don't know where I got that talk yourself out of a trade. Because if you're starting to talk yourself out of a trade, you're like, well, I don't know. And then if you're trying to talk yourself out of a trade and it's proving yourself wrong, then you might want to get in. I can't remember who told me that. It could have been my uncle. My uncle trades. I started trading when I first started trading. Uh, it was over 10 years ago. Uh, there's one thing. Now, we were trading blue chips. He doesn't trade micro caps. We were trading blue chips and stuff. And I think I was with Schwab or something like that. I was, and then I started using Thinkorswim before Schwab bought him out. And he always had a saying, and my uncle had a saying: when there's blood in the streets and people are running, that's when you want to be buying. He also told me the best time to buy a stock is when the CEO is caught in the hotel with a dead hooker. He said you'll go ahead and get hurt now, but if the fundamentals are good, the company will come back. Uh, Take a look at RZLV. I don't think there's anything there. No, just stay away from it. There's 134,000 RVOL. Yeah, see this thing with RVOL, what it'll do is it'll spike. It'll show up, then it's just kind of nothing, to be honest. BJI, TV, darn, XLB's not doing anything. LRE, take a look at SPY. Lopez says, hey boss, nice app, or are you going to make a customizable scanner? In the future, I plan on doing that. The problem is right now, I'm having to pay for everything out of pocket, like the servers, the data and everything. In order to have that, it's going to cost quite a bit of money for me to do that. So I'm going to have some revenue coming in. And what I plan on doing with this app is making it like it is now. And once it comes out of beta, which could be a month or two, I'm not sure. Once I have enough people testing it, and it comes out of beta, I'm not going to be charging $100 like other scanners for $200. It's going to be like $25. Just want people to be able to make money with it, use it, make money with it, and then get some revenue coming in so I can pay for servers, pay for better data, things like that. Because to be quite honest, that kind of data costs about a couple thousand a month to be able to do that. And plus, that's going to take a lot of programming to do, and it's only me for right now. Now, what I do plan on doing, and this is going to be coming probably this weekend if I have time, is the columns right here. Right now, I've got the streaming data for the pricing. Right now, we see AIMD going kind of crazy. And we got news for it. Secures 2 million order with ACE for first deployment of AI nodes in semiconductor manufacturing setting. Okay, that's positive news. It could break. What is that high right there? 287. We just have to keep an eye on it. To me, I mean, this is, and again, you got to look at the volume. You got to make sure and look at the selling volume. Look at that selling volume. That selling volume right there is equal to these right here, to these positive volume. And this with the massive selling, yeah. So we broke it 287. Get to 290. Get to $3. You got to look at the tape. We have 282. Can we break $3? I mean, we got huge volume in here, so that is not a problem. Right now we're at 280. We're looking to break 291 and probably make a run for 3 and break 3. Got 285. $281. This is taking a little time. What you could do is you could sit on your hands and wait. You can always just sit on your hands and wait for a break of 3 and a pullback and try to get in on a micro pullback. You could wait for that. Right now we kind of, the EMA is sloping up. I mean, we've got some indecision doji bars right up here. There's a battle going on between the buyers and the sellers. And if you look at the 5-minute real quick down below, you'll see there's a wick at the top and a wick down at the bottom. That's telling me there's a battle between the buyers and sellers. Most of the time, if you see that, if you want to join the battle, go right ahead. I don't like that. I like being on a winning side. On the 5-minute, there's a wick on the top and a wick on the bottom. Right now, there's a battle between buyers and sellers. This ain't profit taking. Profit taking was on BTAI when you saw a huge spike in the inside bar on a micro pullback. That's profit taking. This is just a plain downright battle, buyers and sellers. Fortress reports second quarter. Much, yeah. Looks like sellers could be taking control of that. Okay, that was AIMD. Yeah, Yeah, so that was just a downright battle. Buyers and sellers, as you can see here, and we kind of wicked up, we kind of pushed down, we kind of wicked down, kind of like a spinning top right there. That was just a downright battle, and you want to stay away from those battles. When the buyers are in control and they're winning, you want to jump in on the winning team and try to get some crumbs. Got 812. I wouldn't take that trade, and the reason I wouldn't, yeah, we got a run up and we got but I mean, there's huge selling volume right there in those two candles right there. That's not ideal for me. If they were way down here, sure. If it didn't break the non-EMA, sure. Non-EMA is kind of flatlining right now. That's not what you want to see. And actually, if you come over here and you go to studies, and you come over here to the MACD, add the MACD, I mean, you can see right there the MACD is just kind of flatlining. When it's open like this is where you want to take the trades. But this really wasn't setting up on any really good trade. I mean, it spiked up here, and then it came down to the non-EMA. But the problem with that is it spiked up here, way up here. It spiked up, and then it came back down and touched the non-EMA. The problem with buying the bounce off the non-EMA, because you could buy, you could go in position at 257, and your stop could be the average true range, the ATR, or the stop could be down here to 250, like a 7-cent stop. And then, yeah, you would have gotten yourself a pretty decent trade. But the problem is that volume right there. Volume is key. Volume is extremely key. IPDN, a lot of IPDN, whoa. That's bad. Look at the volume. Volume is key. Look at the volume on that. I'd stay away from that turd. There's no catalyst either. CYRX. There's nothing there. We got Jern. We got BTAI. Yeah, there's really nothing. We got news 8:15. Just sit on your hands, wait for the news. AIM. That shut up earlier. There was no catalyst on that. Yeah. It's a turd. Want to get crap on your hands on that one. Look at the 5-minute. This candle here made higher highs, higher lows, but there's a big topping tail right there. That was just a battle right there, and then this candle right here, this 5-minute candle, that's no. I mean, the body of that candle engulfs the body of this one. So, plus there was pretty decent sellers. I mean, can it push up? Yes. The thing about this AIMD, you can always, this right here is just a battle going on. You want to find out who's going to win the battle. If this thing pops up above $3, you got to read the level 2 and see if you want to get in on the break of $3. Like if we break 291, if we break 292, yeah, you can get in on that break, or you can wait for a micro pullback if it happens, and then make your play that way. Just trying to read real quick. We got news, and it's 8:18. We got news coming out in about 12 minutes. 12 minutes, we got news coming out. RIGL. There's nothing there. Earnings. Journ showed up earlier. That's why I got it over here. Yeah, that showed up earlier. Righty. Yeah. I mean, this could on a 5-minute could IPDN. This could be setting up a bull flag. Stay away from it. Just a pullback. This could be setting up a bull flag. We got 289, 291. We got 286. We're looking for a break of 3. We got 291. Got to be reading the tape. When we get close to $3, if this tape lights up like a Christmas tree, 288, 289. We've got 37. You're looking for that break of 294. You got 8,000. You got 8,290. Come on now. Got 13,000 on there. Want to hold that 290. Keep pushing. It's lighting up. 288. No. Lighting up red. Lighting up green. This tell me there's still a battle going on. Still a battle going on. 294. 287. Got some big green volume coming in. We got some big red volume right there. So there's still a battle. There we go. There we go. 295. Come on, break it, break it. We've got 293. There's still a battle going on. They're trying. Got some, you have some support at 293, 294. This could be like the other one yesterday. When it snaps hard. But you got a lot of shorts in here. 298. $3. 301. 299. You want that tape lighten up? It's not breaking hard, but it's breaking a little bit. Got 304. You need people slamming into the ask. You got a topping tail in that 1 minute that's forming. Like you got support down there, 7, but this is 278 is the VWAP support, so it's slowly grinding up. We broke the 294 and we ran up to 304, but yeah. You had a run up here. You had that inside bar with that micro pullback right there, and when we broke the high of 294, I mean, you only got up to 304, 305. That's not very much. I mean, if you were lucky, you got a few cents. Got to bounce off the non-EMA, but the problem is, look at this volume right here. The volume, that's selling volume. That's the problem. Look at a 5-minute forming that topping tail. AIMD hit with news at 8 o'clock. $2.1 billion order with ASE first deployment of AI news. Yeah, we've already read that. I mean, it had news at 8 o'clock, but it didn't. I mean, it popped and then it just kind of fizzled out. That's the problem. We're not looking to catch the whole move. We just want a piece of the move. That's all we want, is just a piece of the move. We're not getting that. If you look at how this right here, that VWAP on the 1 minute, we had this nice big green candle right here. We had inside bar, so you get on break of 295, but it ran up to 305. You got 10 cents. You had to be extremely quick, and then you had to be extremely quick to either dump it, sell all of it, or sell half of it and wait for a pullback and then add to it, and that never happened, and then try to get out of the break even. Yeah, if you're with a good broker, you can, and great execution like Lightspeed, I mean, that can happen. You can get out pretty quickly, in and out pretty quickly with Lightspeed. That's why I like them. But you got to be quick on the hotkeys to get in and out. Got to be quick. Because if not, look at this now. It's a turd. We got a huge topping tail right there on the 5 minute with volume. Look at that. That's the volume. You're thinking twice about trying to play a bounce off support right here because of the volume right up in here. If you really want to get an A plus setup, it's this right here. BTAI, that's an A plus setup. We had a nice run. 5 minute was making higher highs, higher lows. We had an inside bar, a little micro pullback with the volume that's low. Look at that. That is what you want to see. Not volume like this. Not volume like this. This is what you want to see. You have big volume that's climbing. Right here on this volume, it's low. And then get on the break of the high of that. You get the high break right here. You can add to the position. You got yourself a nice little pop. And you can sell into that strength. That is what you want. That is what you want. RIGL, nothing. IPDN. IPDN. Oh, I had it up here. I think we were looking at something else. I'm just kind of like, blah. Make a little bit. Then just waiting for the perfect setups again. I mean, the problem with this one is you had a nice big green candle, but then right here you had that sell-off with volume. Then you had this candle that broke that high right there, which was nice. It was like at 820, which is right here. That broke at what, 824 or 224. So right around here, it broke right here. That was pretty nice. But that's kind of hard to play when you're doing right here because of the volume right here. I want momentum upward and then a pullback. Kind of like this right here. We have nice momentum upward. We got a micro pullback and a break of that at 260. You get in at 260, you got yourself 10 cents already. That's kind of like what you want to see. So you can get in at 260 and the stop is down there at 240 maybe. 240, 260, that's about a 20-cent stop. 260, you got yourself about 20 cents right there. That's kind of like what you want to see. IPDN. Okay, what did I miss? What did I miss? Much. Well, we got IPDN, MIGN. We got the same old herds. PDN, IPDN. Well, we're on IPDN. Yeah, we didn't miss much. Okay, we had a run up. We had a little micro pullback, and then we had a break of that micro pullback at 260. We ran up 270. You got yourself about 10 cents on that trade. It's all about the micro pullbacks and getting a few cents. People say, oh, 10 cents, that don't sound like a lot. 1,000 shares, that's $100. 10,000 shares, that's $1,000 right there. And we're trading at 2 million so far on a 5-minute. Of course, that 2 million is to the downside. But we did have higher highs, higher lows right here. So you had a bullish engulfing candle right here. That's good. Bullish engulfing candle right here. You had the break of the high right there. That break of that high was at 240. At 825. At 825, you had a break of that bullish engulfing candle right there. We had a run up, had a micro pullback, and then we kind of ran up and got yourself a little change right there. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. BLB, yeah, there ain't much going on. BTAI was the best one so far. AIMD, EDN, right there. Have AIMD, probably doing very much. T-non, I don't think that's doing much. We have EHTH, that's, EHTH actually turned out to be good. EHTH, what news was that? Was that earnings? Yeah, that was earnings. So that was, EHTH turned out to be good, but not really. Look at the volume. Volume's not there. That's just not there. EHTH, the volume's not there. 4,000 volume. Last minute, that's not good. IPDN. IPDN has volume, but that's to the downside. Had volume on the upside. Now it's getting the volume to the downside. Okay. Let's see. I was IP. Create a video on that. That was, what time was that? That was at 8:25. BTAI, what time was that? BTAI. That was early. That was real early. That was, far two good ones. Flux, FTRE, your turd, PYRX, revenue, IPDN. Yeah, we're not getting very much. Let me contact that. The newest subscriber asked that question. I think I didn't answer him. Left. How do we? 8:43. There might not be much going on. BTAI is trying to make a comeback. BTAI is trying to make a comeback. I just don't like that big topping tail right there. I mean, BTAI, I mean, look at that. For 2 days, we've had a nice run. The third day, made a little money, but then you got big topping tail. This is, I don't think it's going to go off. OPL reports, there's no news on that. THTH is not PAI. Much going. VIR has news. Our biotechnology successfully initiates all trials of Eclipse registrational program for chronic hepatitis delta. We don't know. They could run with it. They could not. What is it? VIR. That on the list there, just in case it starts ranking. BTAI is kind of pulling back. Quarterly revenue, yeah, come on. RIGL, what is that? Right. VIR, they're not picking up. That is 805. That was 805. That was this right here, but they didn't run with it, so I don't think that's going to be anything, to be quite honest. What's the SPY doing? H. I got 8 cores for a server. Got 8 cores for a server. Seems like it's doing pretty good for turning through the stocks. What was I just looking at? IMD. Yeah. All right. I think it might, I mean, 9 o'clock, we might get some news. Who knows? But we had some pretty good ones. BTAI had news. EN, EDN, IPDN had pretty decent trade. IPDN, you had a pretty decent trade right there. VWAP sloping upwards. I kind of wish they had an anchored VWAP, but hey, it is what it is. Let me see, the non-EMA kind of travels with the VWAP. Non-EMA is really used by a lot of day traders and scalpers. VIR is not doing anything. Guy up here, 5 down there, so it's 5 is doing. 5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute. IPDN had a topping tail going on for the daily. These are not companies you want to invest in. You want to scalp them and move on. Trade right there. See, this is what you want. You want the higher highs, higher lows right there. As long as it's making a higher low, you're good. And looking for the break of the 5 minute. You jump down to a 1 minute and get your in. Thing with this. Had a run up, then we had a pullback with volume. That was pretty high. But once we had that bullish engulfing, started breaking the high of this and breaking that right there, we took off and then jump down to the 1 minute and get your entries right here. Your entry was at 829, so it was like right up in here. Can play the break of 240. So if you play the break of that 240, this candle right here, what you can do is if you're going to get that break of the 240, you can try and get in at like 241, 242. I mean, it ran up to 251, so you got like cents, and you can put your stop right down here because it opened up. It kind of dipped down a little bit to the VWAP. Get your entry there, and you kind of run up, and then you can put your stop down here. When it runs up, you sell half, and you almost got stopped out right there, but then it took off. And then once it had that micro pullback, you can add to it, and your cost average will be down in here. That's how the game is played. So if we look at the news right here on, go to today. So 7 o'clock we had the mortgage refinance index, mortgage purchase index. So at 10:30 we got crude oil going on. Got gasoline stocks change. If you're a futures trader, you got the crude oil stuff going on around 10:30. 11:30 we got 17-week bill. At 1 o'clock 10-year note auction. At 2 o'clock we got Fed Cook speech. United States, the authority to set interest rates is divided between the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve and the Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC. Federal Open Market Committee. The board decides on changes in discount rates after recommendations submitted by one or more of the regional Federal Reserve banks. The FOMC decides on open market operations, including the desired levels of central bank money or the desired federal funds market rate. 2 o'clock, Fed Cooks could move the market. Depends on what they are looking to do. This calendar stuff is TradingView. IPDN puking out. IPDN is with volume. XELB. LB, I don't think that's not much. AIMD. Wow. If you were looking at that and you like to play the breaks, that's pretty nice. We had a ramp up on volume right there. Get the break. I don't play breaks, but hey, some people do. AIMD, and of course the news was at 8 o'clock. AIMD. SPY is moving up. See on the 5-minute, we had volume on the previous 5 minutes selling, but hey, VWAP is sloping up. That's looking good. AIMD, AIMD. A micro pullback there. Get in on the break at 287, stops at 281, 287. You're looking for 297. You're looking to get up to that high right there. Is 287, so you're at 292. You're looking at the level 2. When you're looking at the level 2, and it seems like it's stalling out, pay yourself a little bit. See if it can keep running. If it starts coming back down to the to your entry, you want to rethink your situation. Like now. I mean, this is how it's done because we had a nice pop. We had a pullback. The volume was low. So you get in at 287. Your stop is at 280. We pumped back up. Pay yourself a little bit. Came back down. Now it looks like it's trying to make a run to $3. Bouncing off of it. Got a break of $3? No, no, not yet. Got 8,000 on that $3. We have green. Not, it's trying. Look at the 5 minutes, higher highs, higher lows, so that's good. You got a pullback on here, and you got a little 288. Came up here, 290. I mean, kind of stalled out. It didn't hit your stop. Came pretty close, but stops down at the low there, which is at like at 280, which is down here. $3, which are, here we go. Can it hold it? Can it break? It broke the high, but it's just kind of gave back a little bit, and that's what it kind of does. Sometimes it'll break, and then it'll kind of pull back down. IPDN, nothing there. We're looking at AIMD, BTAS selling off. Spies kind of slowly grind up. Got to look at that volume on this candle right here. We had a big topping tail. We broke 3. We came back down, couldn't hold it. Got big volume right there. So that is concerning. So that should be something you need to consider. Just because the VWAP is sloping upwards, couldn't rocket off? Yeah, sure. But want to put the odds in your favor. Going back to test the $3 mark. Bounced off. We got Jern. Jern showed up. Results, recent business highlights, blah, blah, blah. Hey, IMD, what Jern's doing. Jern's not. DFI, PFI. That's weak. That's weak. RIGL is weak. And all those down at the bottom, like ELDN. I mean, look at the volumes there. They're in the hundreds. I mean, look at Journ. Journ got a little bit of volume. IPDN has got the most at 172,000. That's kind of like what you're looking for. Got AIMD that's just kind of look. When you're thinking about trading that, you got to look at the 5-minute. Big topping tail, big topping tail. And also look at this. This is why I didn't do anything. Look at this. We broke the $3 and look what we did, sold off. So we come up here, we break the $3. Are we going to do what it did before? That was a big topping tail. This is a big topping tail. So we don't know what's going on. So this is kind of not a play. I know it's moving up, but this is not in my trading plan. I mean, this is right here. You had to run up. You had a micro pullback and a break of that, and get a little bit right there. But this is not in my trading plan. We had a run up. We got a pullback, but the volume was drying up. But it's below the VWAP, and that's a little concerning. And if you look at the non-EMA, non-EMA kind of did the same thing. Sometimes you just gotta let them run. Just can't get all of them. You gotta stick to your plan. I mean, it has a catalyst. It has news. That's fine. With this bullish engulfing candle right here, you could have gotten in on the break of that. That's fine, and put your stop down here where we kind of dip down. That could be a play. But you know, it's sometimes you gotta sit on your hands and let them go by, because what we did here, we kind of spiked up the $3 mark and we kind of pulled off, and then we kind of ran back up with volume. We kind of ran back up to the $3, but and then we were looking to pull back, and then I thought we would be doing the same thing, and then we just kind of reversed. I mean, granted, you're doing that right there. That's fine. You're doing that. Well, we don't know. We could have broken down here, but we didn't. We kind of ran up, and I didn't take the $3 trade because look what it did. One time, sold off. 2 times, sold off. 3rd time, it broke. I mean, I didn't know it would do that. That's why you just sit on your hands. I let 2 trades go by me. That's fine. There's always more. There's always more. You're not going to get them all. There's always more. Got about 17 minutes. I will be right back. All right, we got about 15 minutes. 3. He had earnings last night. AMD, that actually might try to get some of that a little bit later. Fed Cook speaks. I had Uber this morning at 8 o'clock. Or I don't know. That Uber, who knows? I think so. Oh wow, look at that. Spiked down 7 o'clock. Then we had clock. The clock that was yeah. But earnings hard to play. Donald's. What's that? MC idea. Oh, X. Halliburton. Again. Seven Energy. I played swing. I like it because it has nice little swings. Trades though. There's nothing there. PH. H. Second quarter. T not. There's no catalyst. RIGL. There's nothing there. AIMD. Got the SPY that's just grinding. Grinding. Right here, go to financialjuice.com. I'll give you all the good news coming out. Also go to economic calendar, trading view. Do the economic calendar there. Then earnings, you can click the earnings, get all the earnings. WIX, WIX, IX, those earnings, but there's just nothing. It's riding the VWAP on the 5-minute, riding it. And you got the on EMA. See here, it kind of travels with uh, VWAP, the one VWAP kind of travels together. You can use, quite honest, on EMA, or you can swap whichever one you like. Be 33,000, 40,000 on the 5 minute. So, yeah, CXP, FI, OPH. Got 8 minutes open, 8 minutes open. What I'm going to be doing on 8 minutes open, 8 minutes open, got the pre-market here. I'm going to take that out, probably just put the low float gainers on there and then put top traded. I'm thinking, I know you see the 4 charts right here. What I'm thinking about doing is putting on the low floaters, put the top 4 right here. And then the biggest gainers, like yesterday, had biggest, put that on another chart section right here, but that's gonna be off this off. I mean, this was decent. Yeah. SX LMD was biggest movers. That's not updated yet. Updated because the scanner is not going to scan the low floats, the top traded, the biggest gainers, unless the market is open. It only kicks off when the market is open. Pre-market movers, 4 o'clock, 9:20. After the market opens, pre-market movers not scanning, not pre-market. Yeah, we just don't know what's going to move. When the market opens, you don't know what's going to move. Best thing to do is just kind of sit on your hands for a few minutes and see what comes up. That's why on the low float gainers, I usually just sit there and let it kind of do its thing. Look at the low floaters. BTAI, of course, that was yesterday and was today. CWD was a banger. Yeah, I put out a video on that. That was a strange thing is no catalyst. That was strange. Really it low floaters yesterday. We had new 5 minutes. That was yesterday. When the market opens up, I'm just going at 9:30. I'll put up the low floaters, biggest gainers. Top traded. The top traded. If you look at that, uh, it goes off the volume of stuff that is. This goes off the volume. CWD. That's a low floater, but it had good volume. Yeah, low floater, good volume. The top traded is pretty good. Biggest gainer, I don't think I have. Biggest gainers, you can have some big boy stocks in there. 91 million float, 100 million float. You got like $181 stocks. So, you know, That's LMND, pretty decent. Okay. Those are the biggest. Take the Arval. Arval. Market opens up. These Arvals. 30 seconds. Second. Put low floaters up here. It's going to take about a system to start updating. Got the low floaters up here. Open. Market is open. We're just going to let this kind of settle in. We got BTAI. The low floaters are going to have to update. Woo. Like, you want to sell it right off the bat. Dump it. Okay. Have RIGL. That has SNBR. News and stuff like that. 48 million float. Really want to sit on your hands. Wait until everything shakes out. RIGL is not looking good. AMRC. Sit on your hands. are. Well, Q's. Q's is looking good. Woo, they reversed that as usual. So, little up, down. RIGL. SN. Got no volume on stuff like NB that showed up yet. Catalyst on low floaters and biggest power balls are always going. ELD. It's on the RVOL, but there's I don't know what's. There we go. That was a quick scalp on AIMD. Not much, but it was a quick one. Bounce off of 9 EMA. Okay. Bounce off the 9 EMA right here. Bounce off. Just a quick one. It could run, but it's still early market. Not early market. It's a little bit early. But let's take a look at the AID. Got RIGL. That has new AMWD has, that's nothing there. We got Zeta. Zeta is got shop. There's 1 billion float on shop, but it has news. SHOP. I probably wouldn't touch that. ALAB 125 million float, but there's really no CYRX. Got AIMD. I had a quick scalp on that. That's we have IPDN. Not looking good. LEU 266, 15 million float. All these are going to show show 10% or more. Like, I don't care if something is up 20% and has very little volume. I'd rather trade something at 10% with high volume. It's just the way it is. Zeta is 186 million float, but Zeta has new. Take a look at it. Zeta Holdings blowout earnings. So that's just earnings play. Possibly a little leery about that. Then you got LEU. That's really not moving. RIGL. That's really not doing anything. AMWD. ACTU has news. Really not doing anything. Wait a minute. What? Oh, this platform, I gotta get you. Sorry about that. AIMD is, you got some quick scalps on that. You got some volume. Volume's kind of high on that pullback. Yeah, see, the volume was kind of high on that pullback, and this right here is a bullish engulfing candle, so that's a little leery. And if you look at the 9 EMA, you could be bouncing off, but we got some volume. The volume was down here about half. That would be good for a bounce, but yeah, a little concerning. But earlier, I mean, you had a nice run up here. You had a if you got in on the break of that, but right here, got in on a little pullback here and just scalped it off right here. Yeah, you got a little bull flag right here. So we kind of run up. We got a bull flag. We broke, what was it, 937. But if you look at the high on on the previous right here, the high is at 390. So at 390, which was right here, we had the break of the previous 5 minute. Choop, choop. So we had a break of right here, 390. They had a break of 390, a high of 389.99. I just rounded up to 390. Had the break of the 390 right here, broke it, had a quick little dip right there, and then we kind of ran up at 390. And so you could have gotten yourself a quarter out of that. I am just breaking the ice on low. I'm breaking the ice on low volume, low shares with the new platform. I'm just breaking the ice, making sure I don't make any stupid mistakes that will cost me something. So, but I am green for the day, which is a good thing. PTLO. PTLO. If you were looking at R-vol movers and you got PTLO, that is something that's pretty nice. You had a break of that 5 minute right there. You had 9:30 open. Here, let me go back. Figure chart parameter. Go back to all. There we go. Now it updated. So we had like a little inside bar. We had a break of this right here, which was 746, and then we ran up here. So that's pretty good. This is with a little bit of volume, not much, a little bit of volume. It's not like you're going to be buying 10, 15, 20,000 shares. But can you get in and out with like 500,000? Sure. Make yourself a little bit of money. That's PTLO. So let's put that on the list, PTLO. But the problem is there's no catalyst, no news. So like AIMD that I traded this morning, I got a quick little scalp. That had news. That had secures 2 million order with ASE for first deployment of AI nodes in semiconductor manufacturing setting. So I really don't know what that is. But it was news and was a catalyst. It was early this morning. That was AIMD. And AIMD kind of moved earlier this morning a little bit. As you can see right here, just very little, just not much. But it had news. And I guess, wait a minute, that was PTLO. I'm sorry, AIMD. AIMD had news. Well, that was like at 8 o'clock. Boom. 8 o'clock, we had news. You could have made some money that early morning around 8 o'clock. I don't think I traded that, to be quite honest. But right now, you made the move. You're making higher highs, higher lows right here, and you had a break of 391. You had a break of 390, and then you ran up here. So you got yourself about 10, 20 cents right there on that deal. Right now, I'd probably, these are some hammers that are forming, which is nice. We have Zeta, but that was an earnings play. We got NVAX. NVAX has news. NVAX, keep that on your list. SHLS, just hit the R-vol. We got NVAX beats quarterly revenue. We got a lot of earnings. So the thing about those, they can run, but also they can pump and then dump back down. CPRI. We got NVAX. NVAX, I don't know when that showed up, but NVAX had news, had earnings. It's 147 million float, but there's definitely volume there. So CPRI, but there's nothing there. CPRI, yeah, there's nothing there. We have Go. I think that's GoPro. I think that's GoPro. That, I bet you that's earnings. Yep, earnings. So so GoPro. How could you play GoPro? You really can't. I mean, we had big sell off here, we had spike up here, but it's not, this is not ideal. You want to run up micro pullback, not a pullback like 100% of what the move just made. Sure, you had it up here, the little inside bar, and got you a quick little trade right there, but that is SSRM. That's not kind of like how you want to do. Now, SSRM is really good. Is this news? That's earnings. SSRM, earnings. So, how you can play that is you're making higher highs, higher lows right here. That's perfect. So, a break on it at 935 at 1447, so 1447, so a break of that 5-minute right there. The VWAP, you're sloping upwards. You got green, the volume. So you get in, let's say you get in at 1450, you got up here to 1470, you easily got yourself 20 cents. Daggone it, that's what I forgot to do with AIMD. I was so that's what I forgot to do with AIMD. Let's go back. I can review what I mean, I'm green. I made money, but it could have been a better play. Let's go ahead and review this. AIMD. Okay, AIMD. We had a bullish engulfing right there. I kind of scalped it off of the bounce of the VWAP. And what I could have done when I had money, instead of just full out selling it, I could have sold half and then done shift B to a move to a break even and got myself even more money. But I didn't do that. I just got out. On the new platform, testing it, a little bit nervous of screwing up and making a mistake. But next week, I should be all settled in and comfortable with the new platform. I don't do any mouse clicking to buy and sell, not even during market hours. The only time I will do that is when I got a big runner and then I come over here. Like, let's say AIMD was running and I'm on my break even and I want to trail my stop, I'll go over here and manually trail it. Okay, I'll manually trail it, or I'll come down here and go ahead and modify a position. You don't see my positions down here like active orders. Active orders is right here. I mean, you don't see that. I want to see my active orders because I want to know what's going on. Nothing's really setting up. You got NVAX kind of popping off. You got RSMG. What you want to do is you want to come in here and you want to look for active orders, but you want to only show active orders. You don't want to show all of them, only the active orders. That is just like a guide to be like, hey, did I forget to cancel anything? And also you can do Shift C to cancel all, Shift C, cancel all. Just cancel all your orders. Lines, delete all. All right, so we got NVAX. It's just kind of coming back to the VWAP. NVAX could have been played a little bit. NVAX, we had that up earlier. NVAX, if you look at that, Novax beats quarterly revenue estimates. So that was kind of like an earnings play. We had a run up. We had a sell off. It was an inside bar. It didn't sell off. That was an inside bar right there. And then we kind of had a micro pullback right here. You could have got in on the high of 780. Got yourself 20 cents pretty easily on that quick little scalp right there. That's how that game's played. Earnings. And also right here, if your SGC has news, Proprietary Group companies earnings. Ooh, AIMD earnings. Yeah. So what you could do right here, if you're playing it at 936 at 935, which is right here, higher high, higher lows, higher lows, higher high right here. Get a break of 787, break of 787. You could have gotten in here on the break of that. You could have added to the position there. Then your cost average would be down here. And then when you get up here, the whole dollar of $8, you sell half and move to a break even, then you manage the trade. Now, I'm telling you that, but I did not do that with AIMD. I had a brain fart. That's right. There was such a thing. Your brain does fart. And I had one right there. So this right here, I don't like this pullback and this right here. For one, below the VWAP, don't even like that. And if you look at the non-EMA, it's below the non-EMA. Don't even like that. I like this right here. Getting the scalps off of that, quick scalp. Little micro pullback there, quick scalp. And then kind of deviated, a little bounce off non-EMA. I mean, not VWAP. VWAP's sloping up. Then we kind of curled back over. So a lot of times if you, and also you can just come in here and do studies. Look at the MACD because there are some people that use the MACD. You can use the MACD. This right here, MACD, if it's open, you're good to go on micro pullbacks. Is it going to win 100% of the time? No. But if it wins 60% of the time, you are green. You're looking good. You got RMSG that hit the R vol. RMSG hit the R vol. There's no catalyst, so I kind of like stay away from that. You got CTEV, SGC, got AIMD. As you can see here, this was a good trade. This was a good trade for me because right here, bullish engulfing, kind of opened up, we kind of spiked up. I got in down here on a little pullback. Now I should have added to the trade here and then get a pop, sell half, and then move to a break even, but I didn't do that. Like I said, I had a brain fart. And of course, that right there was at 937, so that was making higher lows, higher highs, so that was good. But then you got to sell them to these pops. This candle right here, good. This candle right here, good. You know, if you got down in here like I did and you sold up in here, that's good. And then you got the $4. You broke the $4, came up here, 424. I mean, you want to sell into those pops because look what happens. It just goes right back down. You got to be quick. This is why keyboard commands are extremely helpful. CTEV has news, but there's nothing there. BODI has news, but there's nothing there. This is earnings. That's earnings. SGC, earnings. So there's really not much going on. We got RMSG. Looks like we got halted, and then we reopened. You got LVTX. Okay, let me look at RMSG. So right here, we ran up. This right here is open. That was like at 949. That was this candle right here. That was nice, but then we got halted. And that reminds me, I got to make a highlight for the LULD, which means limit up, limit down. So if this thing hits 328 within the next, I don't know, 5 minutes, I think it will get halted. But right now, the MACD is kind of curling over. As you can see here, the VWAP flatlining. If we look at the non-EMA, kind of like sloping upwards. So, yeah. BMBL. That's BMBL seems familiar. And stay away from third. AIMD. AIMD, we got a slow grind up. I just don't like it. I mean, if you look at the MACD, as you can see, even on the MACD, it's just kind of flatlining. The trade was this right here when the MACD was open. That was the trade is when it was open. We got Zeta. Zeta is number one index. We got AMID index. Kind of dropped off. We have Zeta. Let's update this to shop. ANET. ALAB. What's ALAB doing? So Zeta is a pretty good one right here. We had Zeta earlier. Zeta, if you look here, that was at 935. This was at 935 at what time? 1993. 1993, right up in here. We were looking to break. Now, this was the high right here. It was 2011. That was the high of 2011. What you can do is you get this run up here. You got a micro pullback, and you can look at the MD, the MACD. The MACD's open, which means it's good to go. MACD's open. That's good to go. And then get it on the break of that, 1993. Add to the position there. You get a pop. You sell half. You move to a break even. Shift B, move to a break even. And then it starts selling off, so you just flatten it out. If you flatten it out, it'll cancel the break even. It just flattens it. So Zeta was a good move earlier. ALAB. No volume on that. PAYO. There's nothing on there. VSAT, VSAT, VSAT. Kind of stay away from that. I mean, if you look at this was a nice move earlier, but it didn't show up on the scanner. But we flatlined right here, and the MACD's on the backside. So you kind of want, I know it's moving up, but the MACD's on the backside. You look at the non-EMA. Non-EMA is curling upwards, but the MACD's on the backside. So you can stay away from that. Ross Cameron talks about the MACD a lot. I mean, we can keep the MACD up there, keep you on the right side of the move. Just go ahead and go to studies. We'll go to MACD. Make that blue. That blue. That little blue. Click OK. We'll make this little blue as well, maybe. Click OK. Make that red. MACD. That red. Click OK. That kind of a bluish. OK. Updating the histogram. How come that's updating the See, right here we have micro pullback inside bar. You can get in on break that, and the MACD is open. That's what you want. Sloping upwards, MACD is open. That's what you're looking for. AIMD is selling off. We got Zeta on the move again. MACD's flatline. You don't want that. You want the MACD to be open like this, and you want to be a run up and a pullback and then a break of this. Stops down there, and you get a pop, sell half, move to a break even. Manage the trade. It's breaking down, so you get out. AIMD, as you can see there, that is really cranking down. It looks like they ran it up and they're done with it. So AIMD has a float of 1.5 million. Volume is 92 million. So they just cranked the living crap out of that. Now they're done with it. Zeta's on the move. If you like playing breaks, you got to look at volume. If you like playing breaks like this, you got to look at volume. Do you see the volume there? No, I see red, but I don't see the volume. Yeah, look at level 2. I don't see anything here. Just tell me it's really going to break. Now, if it breaks up the $20 mark, yeah, it might run. And this still could run, but who knows? That's not in my playbook. NVAX. We have AIMD. That's going to go away. We have Shop that's kind of... We had Shop. That's a $153 stock, so I don't know how many I don't know how many of you can trade that, but has an ATR of 87. We got Zeta, Slow Grind. We got NVAX. Best have here. We have Shop. I looked for hotkeys for this, and I just couldn't find them. Zeta is looking decent. You can look for, I mean, it might pop, and then you can look for a pullback on that. That's NVAX. I don't think NVAX is really doing ALAB. Then we got GoPro. Got GoPro that's breaking. MACD's on the backside, so you kind of want to stay away from that. The MACD is really going to help you with momentum trading, Momo trading. It just keeps you on the right side of the, that's all it does. It is a lagging indicator, but it just keeps you on the right side. When people are thinking and making moves like this, and you're like, and you see this, you're like, oh, okay, maybe not. Or you're thinking about doing a trade like this, trying to get something out of here, flatlining, maybe not. We got to run up. We got micro pullback. We can get a break on that. MACD started to open up to a starter position, real small, and yeah, you got something. You know, the MACD will keep you on the right side. I mean, I made 10 cents on AIMD earlier. I bought it at 377. So if we look at that, let's review that trade. That's GoPro, AIMD. Let's review that trade. That was like right up in here. I bought it at 377. Oop. Right up in here. 377 at 936. I bought it right here. And kind of came down to 370. I was down 7 cents. It didn't hit stop loss of 360. So then it came up here to 392. And then right up here. So I made 10 cents on the trade. But yeah, 10 cents is better than nothing. 1,000 shares, that's 10,000 shares, that's $1,000. Could you have gotten that? Yeah, because it was, I mean, it's trading 2 million right now, but that's there. The volume on that was 12 million on that candle. I'm pretty sure you can 2 million on that, 3.7 million on that. I'm pretty sure you can get 10,000, because if this is what I'm looking for, high volume. That's what I'm looking for. You got millions there. So can you get out 5, 10, 15, 20,000 shares? Absolutely. When you got that kind of volume, yeah, you can. Zeta kind of bounced a little bit. Zeta kind of bounced a little bit. Now it's just kind of flatlining. ALAB, ALAB, if you're looking at that. Let it run up here. Micro pullback, get on that. Bounce off the VWAP right here. The MACD was still open. Get in on the break of that and start adding. That was at like 948. So you're making higher highs, higher lows. So that's what you're looking for. When you start getting into this area right here, like at 955, this area, that's where you want to not take anything. Just because kind of consolidating, wait for the break and another pullback. But A Lab is where is A? A Lab is 125 million float, and it's $183 stock. Don't know how many of you are going to be playing that. What's the Qs do? Qs. Five doing. RMSG. RMSG got halted right up in here. Got halted here, got halted there. ETAI showed up. I wouldn't do anything with that, to be quite honest. IPDN, RIGL, LEU, LEU, there's really nothing there. Nothing there. Zeta on a 5-minute. It's 10:15. You should have made your money already, to be quite honest. From 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock is where you're going to make the majority of your money. 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, the majority of your money. And also, this showed up. This doesn't happen a lot, but LEU is $260 stock, a float of 15 million. So LEU, if you look at that, that's a low float right there. Shares outstanding 16 million. So you got 15 million float. I mean, that's normally kind of weird. AMWD, but it does happen. $60 stock and shares outstanding is 14 million and the float is 13.9 million. So that does happen. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And if we look at Zeta, and then you look at NVAX on there, look at shop right here, you look at shop, then MYGN. That's kind of updated, but hey. You know, you want to look for higher highs. You want to look for higher lows and then break of the highs. You want to look for higher lows. You got that. You got a break of the high right there. Boom. That was NVAX. These were biggest movers. Now, at NVAX right now is at 16%. Anything on this scanner needs to be 10% or above, quite honest. Go. Let's look at Go, because GoPro has earnings. And if we look at Go, let's see how we could have played that this morning. Go was not really making higher lows, higher highs. It was making higher lows right up in here at 945. Right up in here it was making it, but that's kind of hard to play. 940, we're looking at this, but that was a huge wick down, so that would kind of scare me out. That's not what I'm looking for. Not what I'm looking for. MTCH. Here, let's go through some of this. MTCH right here. This is what you're looking for. Higher lows, higher highs up in here. You want the MACD to be open. When you get a run up and you get a run down at get open up at 940, where's 940? 940 is right here. So if you look at that, the low's right here, the low's right there. Even if you want to say, okay, half of this candle, if it breaks half of this candle, I'm not going. But look at it, the VWAP's sloping upwards. The MACD's open. You got a pullback. Let's say you play the non-EMA, because this right here is the non-EMA. If you look at the MACD, that's 926, the non-EMA and the 26 EMA. So that's sloping upwards. That's telling me the spread of the non-EMA is deviating from the 26, which is good. It's deviating. We had a pullback. MACD's open. The volume on that pullback was high. That is the problem. But that right there wouldn't be a trade, even though it worked out. That wouldn't be a trade. Now look, right in here, I got in here. MACD was open. I wasn't even, I didn't put the MACD on at that time, but the MACD's open. We'll look at the volume. Volume's a little high. That's why I didn't go in pretty heavily. I waited. I waited to add to the trade until I got confirmation right here. As I got confirmation on that bullish engulfing right there, and that's when you add and got it. So I don't think. Yeah, so that right here, got to run up. Okay, so you got to run up. That's the flagpole. You got this right here. And you got this right here. This is the flag. Perfect flag. Okay, so we ran up, perfect flag. The volume was lower than this run up. This green candle, that was good. So then we had a pullback, and at 277 right up in here is when I got in. Right up in here is when I got in. This candle. Volume was a little high, and then we got confirmation with the bullish engulfing candle. We got confirmation with volume. And then you sell into the pop. Even if you got in here at 390, sold up here at 417, that's like 25 cents. Are you going to get 25 cents? No, but can you get 10, 15? Sure. 15 cents may not sound like a lot, but at 10,000 shares, that's $1,500. If you go in 10,000 shares and you get 15 cents, that's $1,500. Do that 3 times a week. Let's say Thursday, let's say two days out of the week, you're not going to make anything. It's $4,500 average a week times 52 weeks in a year. You're making 234,000. You're in the top few percent incomers in America. All because you're getting 15 cents. Someone tells you how much money you make and blah 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 trading. You can look at them and say, I make 15 cents. I told my mom that the other day. She's like, how much did you make? And I said 12 cents. She's like, what? I said, yeah, I made 12 cents. And then she looked at me and said, uh-huh. How many shares were you trading? And then I started laughing. Every now and then I can fool her with that, but she's catching on. She's catching on. 243 million flow. Ooh, that big boy. Let's take a look at the big boy. Got to delete all. I'm still getting used to the platform. MTCH. Okay, MTCH. Betcha that was earned. Yeah, earning. Is the season. So, okay, so we had a run up. MACD was open. We had a pullback right here. The volume was kind of high. You don't get in that. The volume's high. Don't get in that. You had this candle right here that engulfed that, but the volume was kind of low. MACD is open, but the volume is not giving you confirmation. Non-EMA, run up, pullback, non-EMA, good confirmation. MACD, good confirmation, but volume deletes it. And we got to run. Small one, but we got it. Hey, fine. If you want to take it, take it. I'd rather trade a couple times a day from A-plusers and just be done for the day. Got ANET, ANET, ANET. 10:22, I'll be streaming until 11. Then we're done. Then we'll be back at it again, 7 a.m. on Thursday. Back at it again. AIMD is still sitting up there pretty good. You want to sell into those pops right there, four and a quarter. You want to sell into those pops. Sell into the pops. Got in down here and sold into the pop there. I didn't know we would break by it. I sold some. Sold. Sell into the pops. You gotta sell into these pops because look at that. Bearish engulfing. Boom. Runs down. Kind of consolidates. Keep running down. And here's the thing. I know I talk about, oh, you get 10, 15 cents, 20 cents, you're good to go, quarter, 50 cents. Wow, that's a pretty good run. But here's the thing. I know I talk about, well, 10,000 shares, you make yourself $1,000. But here's the thing. When you're first starting out, this is the thing that you really need to drill into your head. That the amount of shares does not matter. It's the consistency. Are you green? Are you consistent green? And if you are consistent, and let's say you're making $10 average a day, let's say you're making 2 or 3 trades, when one, when to lose one, whatever. Let's say you end up with $10 that day. Who cares? As long as you're consistent. If you take 20 trades, if you do 20 trades with very small share, 20 trades, you journal those 20 trades. Each trade you make every day after you trade, you journal it and you review your trade. There's nothing there on that RVOL. You journal your trade and you review it. Go back. Where did I get in? Where did I get out? Was that a good trade? And you make notes. You do 20 trades like that. And if you're profitable, let's say you're trading with 100 shares and you're profitable. Let's say you make $10 that day. After the 20 trades, jump it up to 100 shares. Let's say you jump it up to 200 shares. You do 20 trades like that and you journal it. Get green if you're consistent. And then you just keep doing that. Keep doing that. Before you know it, you're building yourself a little buffer because you made like $10 here, 15 there. You know, you're building a little tiny buffer and you're adding, let's say you do 100 shares, 20 trades. Okay, that's good. That's green. You do 20 more trades with 200 shares. Then let's say you build yourself a little decent buffer. Maybe you want to go in and jump up from 200 to 500 shares. As long and if you're losing, then you have to kind of review and see, why did I lose? Was it just a bad week? Who knows? But if it's massive loss, then something's screwy. It's not the trading plan. It's probably your discipline and your mind screwing with you. That's probably what would be happening. CTKB. That's probably what would be happening. And let's say you do 500 shares and then you're consistent. Then you can jump up to 1,000. If you can make $10 a day, there's no reason why you can't make $100 a day. And if you're consistent making $100, there's absolutely no reason why you can't bang out 1,000. It's just a matter of shares. That's all it is. Now, there is a limit. You can't go up with so much out of XUs. I don't want you. So that's what you need to do. It's not about, trading with 5,000 shares and making $500,000 a day. That's not about that. You can make $50 a day. Why can't you make? I mean, if you make $5 a day consistently with very low shares, why can't you make 50? Well, it's just a matter of bumping up shares. If you're making 50 on average, Why can't you bang out 500 profit a day? It's just a matter of the shares. And when you start trading right off the bat with a lot of shares, your mind's going to screw with you. Psychologically, you're going to be like, oh, I can't handle this money. But if you're trading with like 25 shares, 50 shares, and you're going in small, I mean, like, okay, you were wrong on the trade. What'd you do? You lost maybe $5, $10. Okay, who cares? Can't buy yourself a cup of coffee. Okay, fine. It's a Starbucks coffee. Who cares? I mean, make some coffee at home, save a little bit of money. But that's what you want to do. BTAI, IPDN showed up. BTAI, if you look at BTAI, it already it made a nice move, and it keeps making a move. I mean, look at the volumes kind of drying up. So, I mean, kind of want to, like, yeah, how much of a move is it going to make? Done with it a little bit, but hey, HOVR. Ooh, HOVR. Was that Hoover? Hoover vacuum? Who knows? Float 23 million. Nothing there. There's no catalyst, no news. You're looking for a catalyst. You need a catalyst. You need something that is moving the stock. So let's look at all the stuff that was. I mean, you really can't look. I mean, like UCAR. UCAR, you really can't look at that. Look at the volume. It's ridiculous. I mean, you really can't look at that. What you can do is, let's look at AIMD. Okay, that moved. Okay, that had a catalyst. BTAI. BTAI had a catalyst. Therapeutics announced publication in Frontiers Pharmacology on the effects. Yeah, that was like 7 a.m. I read that earlier. But it's a catalyst. And that's what you're looking for. Now, the 5-minute, you could have traded this at like 940. Let's go back at 940. I mean, 940, we had a run up. We had a pullback. We had an inside bar right there. The MACD was open. You could have gotten in on that trade and made you some. Okay. Not bad. And if you do the break of the high 344, and you got yourself 350, you can just get that spike move to a break even and see if you can run. MACD was open, so it was telling me, yeah, we can run, then all of a sudden it doesn't. Okay, so what? Break even. Move on. You win some, you lose some. Let's look at something else with the catalyst. RIGL had a catalyst, but what was that? That was Q2 revenue jumps. Okay, it is a catalyst. It is a move. We sort of made a move. I mean, nothing that I would really. I mean, once it does stuff like this, we have a move here. It's kind of low volume, so that's a little. But let's look at the biggest movers. Let's look at biggest movers. Biggest movers. We have top traded too. You can do top traded right here. Let's take a look at that as well. Top traded. Do top traded as well. Let's look at this MTCH. MTCH, it had a catalyst. We made a move. Look at the 5-minute. We made a move. But PAYO, we had a catalyst on PAYO, but there was no move. There was nothing. ALAB. ALB, we had a catalyst. We made a move. Look at the 5-minute down at the bottom right. We made a move. Go. Catalyst. We made a move. You could have made a little bit on this. Where? I don't know. This is kind of hard to play. That's, yeah. That's a little hard. SSRM. We had a catalyst. SSRM was good. We had a catalyst. SSRM. 12 a.m. on Q earnings. Okay. So we got a lot of earnings. A lot of earnings. And we had a run up. MACD was open. We had a run up. We had a pullback. This is kind of a little hard to play. I'd probably want a little bit something more. Look at the volume there. It was kind of low compared to this. Okay. Could have gotten in on the break of that. You can also play this. I don't know when it showed up. I don't think it showed up earlier. I mean, got an ATR of 6 cents, moved 14%. I mean, you could play, let's say it showed up at 9:35 and it's like 9:40 and you want to play it. Well, you play it on the break of the previous bar. You can play the break of 1480. But 1480, which is this right here, you can play the break of that, which 1480, and it ran up to 15. That's 20. Okay. We're looking for a $15 break. Kind of selling off a little bit. Little micro pullback. Could have maybe booked a half and moved to a break even. Then you got bullish engulfing. Do the break that of $15 and get yourself another 5 cents maybe, or maybe just nothing because it kind of sold off. But we have a catalyst. The SAT, the SAT, we did have that. We're looking at that earlier, and that right there kind of ran up, kind of pulled back. This is the 5 minutes hard to play. It really is. That's why I don't think I really traded that, because that was kind of hard to play. CYRX, JELD. JELD showed up on the RVOL. Of course, there's no volume there, but they had catalyst. Okay, so let's look at the top traded. Top trade is BTAI. BTAI had a catalyst. That's really kind of hard to play. RMSG had no catalyst. Did it move? Yes. Could you make money? Yes. But you want to trade something that has a catalyst, because that would be your A+ setup. And if you're trying to build a small account, Zeta, we already looked at Zeta. We already looked at Shop. That had a catalyst, but it kind of moved. Let's see, when it moves, it's going to move in right there. The first 5 minutes is really hard to play. Okay. So we only had a few trades, but you really only need one good trade a day, to be quite honest. One good trade a day. Shop is moving. Over here, scroll over here. Yeah. Had those hammers, and then we're breaking it. 52.60. Yeah. We're breaking it right there. 52.59, 52.60. Right now you're at 52.92. 6, 7, 8, 9, 30 cents. If you got capital to do that, that's fine. MACD's open. So to break it at 52.60. Also, if you want to trade the Qs, you can look at that. You can trade the Qs as well. That's making higher highs, higher lows right there. That's moving up. MACD's open. MACD's open. MACD is down. MACD will keep you on the right side. MACD is open, so. But the 5 minutes is really hard to play. Ooh, when I trade the Qs, it's got to be really perfect. Nice setup with 5 minutes and everything. And I very rarely play it. Quite honest. IPDN doesn't have anything. Catalyst there. RIGL. There's really no volume there. I mean, right here we had some volume. 119,000. Yeah, you can get in a little bit and make a little bit of money there at 10.10, but there's just much. MACD's open. Volume. This, yeah. But it's a little hard to play. LHAI. Yeah. AIMD is like it's top one with volume at 53% change. That's pretty nice. Look at the news here. Earnings. We got economic calendar at 11:30 in about 50 minutes. We got a 17-week bill auction. Fed Cook's speech at 2 o'clock. You should be done by now, to be quite honest. If you look at the stats, I'm pretty sure you'll make most of your money in the morning. At the server no more. That AIMD had pre-market volume. 22 million for AIM pre-market volume. That's pretty good. LPSN. LPSN is OPSN. Pre-market there was, but nothing there. Pre-market we had around 840. Look at this. Now, not gonna get on CPOP. SH. We had a run up here and we had a inside bar micro pullback. MACD was open. That gives you something good to take a look at. The problem is it's kind of dipped down below that, but you could have gotten in on the bounce of the 9 EMA with the MACD open. Get bounce on that, your stop would be down here, so you can get in at 114. You got a 4-cent stop if you like to play the 9 EMA bounce, and then of course if you broke the high right there at 126, it ran up to 131. Now you got yourself a little bit of money. Not much. Volume was 1 million. So volume was there. See the volume? Look over there, it's 1 million. You definitely got volume. And then with the MACDs, when you get this right here, if you think this is a micro pullback and you look at the MACD, of course the volume is telling you no. You know, the MACD is kind of flatlining. Right here it was curling over, and that's not what you want to see. what Ross Cameron talks about is the MACD being open like right here, and then you can get on these trades and get yourself something quick. That's what you want. Now, if you got in here, 426, 426, this candle, I don't know if it spiked down, then ran up. I mean, it could have opened up here, ran up here, then spiked down and ran back up. I don't know. You don't know unless you actually look at the live, or you're looking at, or a replay with live data, or a replay of it. But let's say you get in at 126, get out right here, that's like 5 cents. But that's high volume, 2 million, 5 cents, 5 cents. So 10,000 shares on 5 cents is $500. That's pretty good. 1,000 shares, that's $50. 5,000 shares, 5 cents, $250. You know, it all adds up. And if you think 5,000 shares on something like this, trading million up in here, 10,000 shares, nothing. Light speed will get you in and out of that in a flash. Body, body, I don't know. Right here. It's got news. Earnings. But let's look at body, back over here. Oh, crap. Got nothing. Just look at that. 2.2K volume within 1 minute. That's a no. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be updating this. I'm going to be updating this column right here instead of the 1 minute volume, like AIMD, AIMD. We look at that. That's pretty decent. I'm going to be looking to get this to look at how much when we're in the pre-market, the total calculation involved the volume in the pre-market, and we can sort by it right here. When the market's open, then it goes from 930 current to where the volume is. And maybe I'll leave that for later, but right now what I probably need to do is just be able to click on change. When you click on change, it sorts it by change. When you click on price, it'll sort it by price. Float, click on that, it'll sort it by float. And volume, you click on that and it sorts it by volume. That's what I want to do. All right. All right, I think I'm going to cut the stream. CPOP. Let's take a look at CPOP. CPOP. I don't know when it popped up there, but it's $1.69. And if we look at this, we had like a little micro pullback right there. That has some volume in there. We got this candle right here. Got the volume picking up. I mean, if you look at 940, not 940, 1040, sorry. Look at 1040, which is right here. Yeah, we kind of broke the high. 164, you broke the high 164, which was this. It kind of broke it and kind of fizzled out a little bit. Didn't go down to that low, and then kind of could have made sense on that. MACD's kind of opens, sloping upwards on 9 EMA. You could have made 10 cents on. Yeah. All right. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. Later.